This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're at the final press conference here for Garcia versus Cheeseman. Have you noticed something? No. The date of this show. 02/02 at the O2.
I like that. What's right, 02/02 at the O2. Brilliant, mate.
Right, before we start, what are we going to do with these?
So this is a set of kangaroo bollocks. So Craig Richards said Jake Ball had lost his balls, so he's bought Craig Richards a set of kangaroo nuts. Now, Craig didn't really want the kangaroo nuts, so we are going to give them away to IFL viewers. You can win yourself your own pair of kangaroo bollocks. All you've got to do is answer the question. Azuma Nelson made his professional debut on February 2, 1980, I believe David Diamante said. But in one of his performances, defending his world title, he beat a Londoner. We want to know who he beat, in what round did he win, and what was the venue.
We'll get them kangaroo
nuts. There you go.
Thank you. Hey, could you just step back a bit? There we go. Better. So, you being a busy boy?
Yes, I have.
You've been making fights on Instagram Live?
That was good, yeah. I was basically just walking around the wildcard gym and just going up to people randomly. Benavidez. Benavidez is an obvious fight for Callum Smith. But also Ray Beltran. I really want to make that rematch with Ricky Burns, to be honest. So, yeah, just a good trip, a few meetings. I was in Philly first for the presser. It was brilliant. John O'Carroll and Tevin Farmer on great form. It's going to be a big show, that, Friday, March 15th. And then over to LA straight away for meetings, and then flew back last night, landed this morning and come straight here. Buzzing.
Okay, we're going to come on to this card in just a second. Now, something baffling you said in a couple of interviews yesterday. You said that Joshua Whyte is close.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I do think we're at a stage where, the main thing is it looks like April 13th is unlikely. I think Dillian feels like for a fight like that, he'd want a little bit more time. Josh is ready, but Josh has always been ready because that was always the date he was fighting. So, if we do the Dillian Whyte fight, I think we'd move it to May or June anyway. But again, the Jarrell Miller fight's very close for June at Madison Square Garden. So nothing is imminent, but we're moving forward. And I think we're going to be in a position by the end of the weekend. I know I keep saying by the end of this week, but certainly by the end of this weekend to know what we're doing, I think.
So, as it stands now, you're scrapping that April 13th?
Not 100%, but it's looking very likely. I mean, also, Spurs are back in the stadium, so it's not too much of a problem for Wembley. If Dillian doesn't want the fight on April 13, do we look at fighting in May or June, or do we look at fighting Jarrell Miller? And then Dillian gets his fight in April against someone else, or early May or something like that.
Now, originally you said that April 13th was your one shot at Wembley for 2019. Has that situation changed?
No.
So if you did Joshua Whyte, where on earth would you want to put that?
Another stadium. Olympic Stadium. Emirates. Twickenham.
But
it's not something we're actively looking at. But we're not. We haven't reached a deal with Dillian Whyte anyway. But if we were to, I feel like that would push the date back.
Okay, Ed, could you stand back because? Sorry, mate. No, I am.
What?
Okay, so in regards to all these offers, you did say at some point that you were actually going to show me some of these offers.
I think I'll show you, but I think also it's been pretty much revealed, to be honest with you. I mean, the Fury splits plus the minimum guarantee, the Wilder deal as well. I don't really want to talk too much about the Dillian Whyte offer. If he wants to do that, he can. I mean, there's news out about an earlier offer and the amount, and that was improved. But I'm working with Dillian, so I'm not looking to call anyone out. But it's important, particularly with the Fury and Wilder fights, that people know how hard we've been trying to make that fight. And I think that when you see the offers, 99% of people will feel that that's fair. That's a fair offer. But it looks like they're going to rematch. Although someone told me yesterday they think Wilder's going to fight Brazil. But I can't see that personally. But, yeah, so we've got to do our own thing. And that'll be Dillian Whyte or Jarrell Miller.
Did you improve on the alleged $4 million offer?
Yes.
Did you go over 5?
I'm not answering that. You talk to Dillian if he wants to let you know what was offered. So, look, the game's changed. You know? I mean, a year ago, Deontay Wilder was making $2 million to defend his world title. Now you've got a guy getting offered double over or over double to challenge for a title. So the game has changed. You're seeing it with the Zone. You're seeing it with Canelo, with Jacobs, with Golovkin. Like things have gone mental. It's an amazing time for the fighters. And Dylan just feels that I'm going to sit tight and I'm going to wait for an improved offer, and I want to get up to those levels. I think he feels like he should be on those same kind of levels as Fury and Wilder at 40%. So, but to do that, you've got to keep winning. You've got to keep raising your profile. There's got to be massive public demand for the fight. But the plan now is either do that fight in May or June, or get Dillian out in April in another big fight at the O2 or Manchester Arena, and that's what we're working on at the moment. Both options, but looking at Brazil, looking at Povetkin, looking at Ortiz, those kind of fights for Dillian. But it's kind of like, you know, do you jump into gamble for all the marbles, or you're always gambling? You know, Dillian's always gambling, isn't he? You know, he gambled against Parker, he gambled against Chisora. If he fights Povetkin or Brazil or Ortiz, he's gambling again. So, but he's up for it. You know, he backs himself. The one thing I say about Dillian is he backs himself. You know, he thinks that he's going to be worth more money. He thinks that he's going to keep winning. So, you know, it's a dangerous game. But this is where we're at.
So, to this day, you rule out anything with Fury or Wilder for April 13th?
No, not yet. No, Wilder. I mean, look, like someone, the geezer out of Boxing Voice, that bloke who blows up Wilder all the time, right?
Nescafe. No, not Nescafe. Nesto.
So he's like, well, what about if you did this with a split and in a rematch, I said, mate, these are the conversations we want to have with Wilder's team. But they won't even reply. Does anyone not understand? At least Fury, we're talking, me and him.
Are you still talking?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time. Monday, Tuesday, something like that. But he wants 50-50. He doesn't deserve it, in my opinion. He's a challenger for the 4 belts. He's coming off a great performance. But 60-40 is an unbelievable deal. If the WBC mandate, right, 60-40 for Wilder Fury, and I know maybe that's not where they do the deal, but that is the purse split. So why is 60-40 against a guy whose commercial value is 10 times higher than Deontay Wilder not fair? And for all these people going, well, just give him 50%, fuck it, right? Well, how about just take 40%? Where's those people saying to Tyson Fury, if you believe you can beat Joshua, why don't you take the 40% and become king? It's not about the money, because didn't he give all his last money away to charity? Well, that's what everybody reported. But so obviously it ain't about the money. So,
okay, let me ask you another question. If you were to offer, theoretically, Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury this 50-50 split,
I don't think they'll take it either. I don't think they'll take it. Fury might. Wilder wouldn't. Wilder's bum's gone completely. Do you want it right? A serious question. And I see you grinning. Do you believe that Wilder would take the fight if the 50-50 offer was made?
I don't see why he wouldn't take it if that's all he...
Because they don't fancy it. I'm not even saying Deontay Wilder. Heyman and those boys, they can't allow Wilder to get beat. They can't allow him to box on another platform. Because, you look at Showtime. Abner Mares fights gets cancelled at the weekend. Heyman's putting all his nuts into Fox, and Showtime are getting left with the dribs and drabs. Now they've got Abner Mares against Hugo Ruiz, and Espinosa's sitting there getting salty. with the zone while he can't even see before his eyes that all the good fighters are getting shipped off to Fox. So Heyman needs Wilder. You know, it's really important. And that's why I don't even think, because if you wanted 50-50 and you were offered 65-35 and talked about 60-40, wouldn't you just come back and say, give me 50-50, you got to fight? Wouldn't you even do that? They're not even doing that because the bum's squeaking. Fury, different kettle of fish. Fury wants the fight, in my opinion. But I'm not even sure when push comes to shove, he ain't worth... Look, he's a great fighter. He ain't worth 50-50. I mean, I see Ben Davidson's comments. I mean, all of a sudden, Ben Davidson is now an expert about the boxing business. I mean, great trainer. What he's done with Tyson Fury is incredible. What he knows about the boxing business, I could write on my little pinky. He should stick to teaching people how to throw left hooks. I'm not going to go in camp and say, let me tell you, when you throw the right hand, you've got to turn it over. You know what I mean? I ain't going to do that because I don't know fuck all about training fighters. I know about how to make money for fighters and make big fights.
One thing I will ask, does he have a point when he says, can everyone be wrong about these splits?
Because it's not everybody be wrong. Everybody's got a perception of what they're worth, okay? Can they be wrong? Fucking right they can. But you understand that this is like a global gang up on AJ. I see it with Canelo in the States, you know, where people want people want to block Canelo, stop this, get him to fail, because he's the main man. And AJ is the main man. And whether you like it or not, he's the fucking main man. And this ain't about the next fight in April or June. This is about a legacy. This is about beating everybody. This is about being 22 fights in. How many times do you say it? 22 fights in. Yeah? Povetkin, Klitschko, Parker, Takam, Dillian Whyte, Brazil. It's almost getting boring. Keep going on. And you've got these other guys, haters. Yeah? Lennox Lewis, 22 fights in. Managed to finally fight Razor Ruddock for the Commonwealth title after 22 fights. How can you hate on AJ at this stage in his career with his resume after 22 fights? Judge him in 10 years' time. Or judge him in 5 years' time. Yeah? Maybe he goes and doesn't create the legacy that we hope he created. But give him a chance. You know, when he's been through all these guys already, don't worry about him not wanting to fight people. He wants to fight them all. But you think, I mean, like Ben Davison, he has to give all these guys, Dillian Whyte, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, 50%. Otherwise, there's no fight. Mate, please. I mean, there's levels to this. And you got a guy who is the biggest star in world boxing. And you got the others who are great fighters, but commercially not the same. But we need them. We need them. Because everybody's ganging up to try and block AJ. No, don't take the fight. People, it's unbelievable. I've been negotiating with fighters whose teams have been talking to each other, letting each other know the offer, and like trying to play it off. So, like they've got no interest in taking a fight, but it's like, oh, it's madness because people are so desperate to see AJ fail in the business, you know. Where really you should be a lover. You should be a lover and say to this guy, wow, this guy's had 40 amateur fights at 22 fights. He's unified the division twice, and now he might be go out and sell out Madison Square Garden. So don't be a hater. Be a lover. I mean, it baffles me. And it baffles me almost as much as I was thinking on the plane, like, how can you prefer Brannigan's roast beef and mustard over Monster Munch pickled onion?
Are you talking about me?
I was thinking about it on the plane. It's it's bizarre. And I'm still trying to get my head around it.
It's a personal preference.
But they don't even exist anymore.
They do exist because I bought them 2 days ago. From Ranjit's Minute Mart.
You come into the Wayne tomorrow?
Yes.
You bring some roast beef and mustard?
Yes.
Good. Because it's
disputing.
It's been upsetting me.
Is there a possibility that Dillian Whyte will fight in April on his own date that could also feature Dave Allen and Lucas Brown?
Absolutely.
When are you looking to do that?
April 13, April 20, April 27.
You can't go April 20th.
Why?
Well, you got a small matter of your fighter Amir Khan fighting in New York.
That's at 4 o'clock in the morning.
You'd go to one and then travel.
So got the Josh Warrington, Kid Galahad purse bid next week.
So we obviously heard a little bit from Frank about this. They're disputing the split of the 65-35. It should be 75-25.
No, the rules from January the 1st were that the new split is 65-35. Frank didn't know that, and when they sent the letter out, he had a heart attack, and then sent a legal letter or whatever he did to the IBF trying to get the purse bid changed, split-wise. I don't know the final result. If the IBF's bum go on that, it's ridiculous because the new rule from January the 1st is the change of the split. So you can't start changing the split back, but it is what it is. If that's the case, then Kid Galahad loses 10% of his purse. But we go in with a big bid next week. If we get it, great. If we don't, then he makes a fortune and challenges for the world title on BT.
Can you give us a little purse bid situation update?
With them all. I mean, they've all been...
Lomachenko and Krolla.
Lomachenko against Krolla. So Top Rank have requested a unification between the winner of Chaniev and Komi this Saturday. And then Krolla would have to wait till June or July. Not the end of the world, but we don't think that should be allowed. I've got Danny Roman against TJ Deheny. They've got a mandatory as well. Akhmadaliev. But we've put in a special permit for that. Then you've got Fury Wilder. Is that next week?
It was originally the 5th of Feb.
Next week, yeah. I'm guessing they'll do a deal before then. What else have you got? Saunders, that's not for a while.
What's the situation with Saunders and Andrade? Do you think you'll make a deal?
So, I mean, it's hard because obviously the money that he was offered for the first fight, he was on 75%. So now he's on 25%, 30% if he travels. So obviously the offer is going to be more than half, or it should be, what he got last time. But we also have to give him the respect that he was the world champion, he's undefeated world champion, and it's a big fight. I mean, look, Saunders should be trying to get on DAZN. Because if he wants to be in the middleweight mix and win titles and have those massive paydays, he needs to be on DAZN. Like every middleweight, really. So we'll see what happens.
You signed the Shrish Karat Rangasai.
Who?
Shrish Karat.
Shrish Karat. Shrisaket.
Did you say it any better than me?
Shrisaket. Rungvisai.
Rungvisai.
Call him Rungvisai. Yeah, it was... I'll tell you, I've been working on this deal for a long time. Probably 5-6 weeks. Frank's done a great job. Frank Smith getting it over the line. The perfect fight for DAZN, the Estrada rematch. That's the fight we want to make. It's fight of the year. One of the top fights of the year in 2018. We're looking at April 6, hopefully, for that fight. Going to be on the same card as Danny Roman against TJ Deheny unification. Possibly Jesse Vargas as well. Maybe Yafai as well in a unification. So, yeah, it was a big signing. I mean, now, you know, we've now got, when you look at the DAZN platform, obviously Canelo is a golden boy fighter. He's still on the platform. Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk. You've got Callum Smith, Ring Magazine. We're working on his next date now. You've got Rungvisai. You know, you've got top fighters on the platform now, and even more coming. So I feel like we've got great momentum.
Is that a date you're looking at, the 6th of April in LA for TJ Deheny and Roman, and also,
Yeah. Not confirmed, but that's one of the targets that we're working on. It's a big card. And it's probably taken a little bit longer than I expected, to be honest with you. I think in my normal arrogant ways, I just expected to go in and sign everyone within a week. But, you know, we've got real great momentum now and a real great stable. Probably still need that American... You know, we've got Danny Jacobs, which was a massive signing for us to extend on DAZN. Probably still need that American fighter as well. But also, I think what's going under the radar is the youth that we're signing. You know, away from the three Brooklyn kids that we signed initially with, you know, Ababi and Reshat and Solomon, you've got two brilliant Hispanic fighters in Alexis Espino and Diego Pacheco, and now signed two of the top amateurs in Ofer Jones 3 and Raymond Ford. No one's really talking about that, and you're quickly going to see over the next couple of years our stable in America just emerge with great talent, because I think people are a bit short-sighted in America where they go for the top crop without building the foundations. And I think that's why a lot of fighters in America don't have that profile when they get to the top, because no one built them on the way up. And that's something that we're going to try and do.
How many subscribers have DAZN got currently?
I can't tell you. Not that.
Why is it a secret?
Yeah. It's not secret, but it's not.
All right, are you pleased, or are they pleased with what they've got so far?
Canelo fight was a massive win for DAZN because the numbers were incredible. But it was a free sign-up as well. The proof of the pudding is really going to be in the Danny Jacobs fight, because there is a fight. You know, I saw Stephen Espinosa's comments today where he's like, $10 for Canelo Fielding. I mean, I wouldn't pay that. What a rip-off. It's like, no. It was free, firstly, if you signed up. But secondly, it's not $10 for that fight. It's $10 for the entire month. So, you know, if you're signing up on April the 6th, right, for example, you're going to get Rungsavai against Estrada, Dehaney against Roman. You're going to probably get a Golden Boy date. You're probably going to get Dillian Whyte's big heavyweight fight. You may get Usyk as well. You may even get Golovkin go at the end of April. Then you've got Canelo Jacobs on May the 4th. You know, if you sign up on May the 4th for the Canelo fight, you're going to get Canelo Jacobs. You're going to get Alexander Usyk's return. You're going to get one of our UK shows. You're going to get the World Boxing Super Series and Joshua on June the 1st if he goes there for $10. So
It's a no-brainer.
it is a no-brainer, son. But it's like it's just, you're just up against a system, and I'm up against a system. Like you couldn't believe, like everyone I meet who's on my side goes, mate, do you know people are so desperate for you to fail out here?
You knew that anyway.
Yeah, but that turns me on. That really makes me horny, you know, because I love it when I'm the underdog. I love it when people are trying to stop me and tell me I can't do it. Because, as I said before, I won't be outworked. I may not be as smart as... I mean, Heyman's a smart guy. I think he went to Harvard. He's been around a long time. He won't outwork...
You went to St Martin's.
No, I didn't. I went to Brentwood. And I went to Havering College. So, fuck Harvard. But, on a serious note, I will not be outworked. I will not be outworked. And it's probably going to kill me. I reckon in 3 years' time, I'm going to be in a right old 2-8. But I'm 1,000,000% invested in this. You know, and it's not just DAZN. It's Sky Sports as well. You know, March 23 will be announced on Saturday night. Really good card in London. March 30th in Liverpool is a really...
You're moving away from Newcastle and going to London.
We're going to be in London on March 23rd. And then the April stuff will be announced and the Joshua stuff will be announced. We've got Italy in March now. We've got Germany launching in April. We're going to be announcing our first Mexican show for February 23rd. Later today, there's been a few bits leaking about that. So, you know, it's non-stop. But I'm out there... and I'm just working as hard as I can possibly work to try and make it all succeed.
Very happy to it. Can you talk us through your meeting with Gennady Golovkin?
No. Do you know what? The gossip factory in boxing is unbelievable. And I have to admire some journalists who know things that I really don't know how they know, and it's a bit worrying at times.
But did you meet him? Clearly, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about it. And actually, I've seen some quotes from some writers, and it's like, that looks like it's come straight from me. I saw Mike Coppinger, it's like, sources, Eddie Hearn thinks that he's got a great chance. Like, what? I didn't say anything. So, no, I'm keeping stum. Listen, there's a long way to go. You know, Gennady, as I said before, he's a bright guy. He's going to make the decisions that he feels are in the best interest of his career. We would love him on DAZN. You know, he's also got aspirations of GGG promotions. So, you know, for us, it's not about we sign Gennady. We'd be working alongside him.
Is it accurate at all, some of the reports about a 2-fight deal and what sort of money he might be getting?
I mean, it's not about a 2-fight deal. You know, this is about him having a legacy on DAZN. But I'm not going to go into it. But no, most of that stuff, 2 fights, like I said, it's not about the 2. Of course, the Canelo fight's there, but you know, he's got his own plan. He's a very bright individual, and you know, I'm sure a strategy and an offer will be put in place by Matchroom and John Skipper at DAZN to see if we can make it all happen.
What did you make of the Josh Taylor and Baranchyk situation? Because apparently he withdrew from the competition, then the WSSB put the fight out about an hour ago, saying that it's on for the 18th of May.
That's games, isn't it? You know, I mean, look, I think the World Boxing Super Series is a great concept, it's a great idea. Clearly, it's had its problems logistically. You know, I know there's been some people talking about the finances and stuff like that. I know that Calla is committed to continue the semi-finals and finals. Clearly, there are some fighters that are unhappy, and there's rumours of 1, 2, 3 fighters leaving that tournament. Legally, I don't know where that puts everybody. It's not my business. They're not my fighters. But I think it's going to be very interesting over the next couple of weeks to see what happens, who stays in, who goes, and how the tournament progresses. You know, for Josh Taylor, obviously he wants Baranchyk to stay in. He had a world title shot in Glasgow. But, you know, again, we're in a very competitive industry at the moment, a marketplace, where the deal that you signed 6 months ago may not look very good anymore. Does that make sense? So I don't know whether they're just concerned about the financials or actually thinking, I can get more money elsewhere, which is a problem. And I'm glad it's one that I don't have because it's going to be a pain in the arse to solve.
George Groves retired this week from the sport. A little bit of a surprise. I think some people were suggesting before that he would carry on, but he has called it a day. But, I mean, what can you say? He's won everything and had a remarkable career.
Yeah, perfect time to retire, really. Made a nice few quid out of the series, but taking the money away, won a world title. And I think after the 2 Froch defeats and the Badu Jack defeat, that didn't look likely. So you have to give him a lot of respect and credit. I think as you get older, your mindset changes a lot. Like when Groves fought in that first fight against Froch, and when we were negotiating for the second fight, I really didn't like him that much. I respected him, but I wasn't mad on him, and I wanted to help him. Really, I wanted him to believe that we were going to be fair, because we were fair, and we always are. But I think in his earlier days as well, he had a really big chip on his shoulder. But I think that benefited him rather than was a disadvantage to him. But sometimes he felt that it was him against the world. And a lot of times early on, I wanted him to not feel like that and know that he could trust me and Matchroom. But I think everything that happened in the first fight, it just made him, reject everything and be resentful of. I think sometimes fighters, you talk about the system, like they want to fight against the system and they see Matchroom as the system. Does that make sense? So like, I don't want to be with Matchroom. I want to do my own thing. I'm not signing with him. They're not going to tell me what to do. It's not like that with us at all. And I wanted to promote him. After the first Groves performance, I wanted him to be in the team, and we ended up doing some work together. But as time went on, I think you just mature as a person, and I've ended up having a lot of respect for George Groves. I like him. He's a family man. I have massive respect for what he did for his career, and he gave us two of the great nights. I mean, Froch Groves 1, for me, will always go down as one of the most thrilling fights I've ever seen live. And I always wish that we could have got another 20 or 30 seconds to see what would have happened and what should have happened in that fight. And I still say to this day, I do believe that he would have gone on and been legitimately stopped in that fight. But he deserved to see that play out because he boxed so well. And of course, those two, really, Froch and Groves, are responsible for that magical moment at Wembley that really changed the game. That was the time where everybody put their bollocks on the line and said, we're going to go for it. I remember my dad telling me, Ed, don't do it. Don't go to when we did the Eubank Watson rematch, we went to White Hart Lane and it just didn't sell. And we did it, we went for it. And it changed really the face of British boxing. And both of those are responsible for that. And they'll never get on. Do you know what I mean? But no, I think as you mature as a person.
I think
as you mature as a man, you just change your mindset. I probably had a chip on my shoulder back then as well. It's like, fuck George Groves, you fucking. But actually, now, I think what he did at that point was extremely ballsy. I bet he wishes he would have had that fight now. He would have made about 5 times as much. But still, he had a great career. And I like it when fighters leave the sport happy. That Groves can sit there with his world title on the wall with his nice house and his, sending his kids through education that he wants and, knowing that job done.
Have you got any other news you could tell us about?
Loads, but none that I'm going to tell you about.
Give us a little saying.
No, look, we've just got great momentum at the moment. With all we're hopefully making another announcement of a new signing today. It's a heavyweight.
UK or America?
International. And just really got momentum now with fighters who are sitting up and taking note after being told for so long, don't go with Hearn, don't go with the zone, it's a waste of time. If you're a fighter and you're watching this, the best advice you can get is from a fighter. Right? So if you're an American fighter watching this, speak to Danny Jacobs, speak to Demetrius Andrade, speak to Tevin Farmer, speak to Anthony Joshua, speak to Alexander Usyk, speak to any of our guys and they will tell you this is the place to be. Matchroom, not IFL.
IFL's always the place to be. What do you reckon of this tracksuit I have on right now, Edward?
I like it. What is it? One Rude.
Shea Rude. This kid is 19 years old. Who put this together? He's got
Shay Rude. Shout out to Shay Rude. 19 years old, young entrepreneur on the hustle.
this tracksuit in Zaggers. For 19, what was you doing at 19?
Selling double glazing.
Yeah. I think Shay really wants to send you a tracksuit.
What size is that?
This is an XL, I think.
Has he got double XL? Shay, if you're watching, I want XL on the top and double XL for the bottoms because I've got a big set of nuts.
What colour?
I mean, I'm easy. Black is good.
Hood or no hood? This one has a hood.
No hood.
Shay, he wants to send you one, so leave it with me and I'll sort it out. But good for 19.
Yeah, keep at it, Shay. Keep following your dreams, my son. Good on you.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and we'll see you at the weigh-in tomorrow.